Hello, I am Morgan Lancaster, and if you could probably tell from the teaser I put out a few days ago, then you'll probably know what I'm on about. So, my video today is going to be all about Soccer AM. So, for those of you who don't know what Soccer AM is, I'm going to give you a little bit of a description. So, Soccer AM was a show that ran from 1995 all the way to 2023. And when I was a kid, and even into my adult years, I'd just get up on a Saturday morning. I'd either watch it by myself or with my stepdad and family and my dad as well. And I'd watch Max Rushton, Helen Chamberlain, Fenners, Bullard, just hosting an amazing show. So here is why I'm doing this whole video. So when Soccer AM ended, I was not happy. I just thought that the football nostalgia was going away now. I know we're in a new era of football now, but I just hate this new idea that Sky are doing, where they think that that YouTubers talking about football for about an hour a day, or a week even, is relevant with the kids these days. No one wants to hear the likes of Fogden blabbering on about useless shit. And I will say I have a personal hate for Fogden, let's be honest, because I am a Wigan fan. But I don't want to keep hearing YouTubers talk nonsense on that show. Don't get me wrong, I love Adam Smith on that show, but the rest of the whole concept is terrible. So, I am here today to give you my idea for a revival of Soccer AM. And this is something that I've been doing for quite a few weeks because I really wanted to possibly see a revival of Soccer AM. Even if we didn't get a revival, I would have loved to have seen the Soccer AM YouTube channel just upload old episodes and old clips. That would be amazing. And I know TV show channels do that a lot on YouTube. Obviously, some of them have their own personal regions, like America, UK. So I've got my phone here, and on one of my notes, I have my Soccer AM revival. So here it is. So, first order of business, the format. I loved the idea of putting it on the weekend, but I feel like Soccer AM could have done multiple days. Obviously not with the same presenters, because that would be probably tiring them out. So here's the concept I've gone for. So this won't just be on a Saturday, this will be an entire weekend. So you got a Friday, a Saturday and a Sunday. So first up, Friday, Soccer AM. This will be a 2-hour show, because I feel like Fridays you're still in school, you'll probably won't have time to watch it, but I'm pretty sure if you could find the time to watch it. And this would be hosted by John Fenley, or Fenners if you remember, and Jimmy Bullard. This was probably most of the time when I watched Soccer AM. And I think Jimmy Bullard, even though many people didn't like him on Soccer AM, I thought he was all right. And that's just not just because he was a former Wigan player. He had a lot of great concepts and great jokes and stuff and great banter. And I do like banter from Bullard. So, Saturday, the main one, this is going to be a 3-hour show. Now, let me explain. I think 3 hours could be the best idea for Soccer AM, especially because of the time strengths in between, because you wake up in the morning, 7 a.m, you get Good Morning Sports fans on. That's probably perfect. But then you get Soccer AM for about 3 hours, and then you get the 12:30 kickoffs of football. So I think that would probably be the best scenario. So the presenters on Saturday will be the OGs, Helen Chamberlain, Tim Lovejoy. Obviously, he's brunching all the time now, Tim Lovejoy, and Hells Bells, she's working on a farm, I think. But I'd love to see them come back and host a Saturday show of Soccer AM again. So Sunday, now this is a bit personal for me because I think a Sunday show would be amazing as well. It could just be like a really good review of the days of yesterday's fixtures and preview of the day's fixtures as well. But you also could have some great segments and concepts and ideas there. And the presenters, now, don't judge me if you know me, but I'm putting myself down as a presenter. And the next presenter is a very good friend of mine who I've known since college, and he's really helped me get through the first year. My good friend Evan Sefton will be helping me there. I'm pretty sure if he saw this, he would either be happy or maybe a bit confused. But that's my idea I come up with. But also, I'm not just doing Soccer AM. I'm also doing something called Soccer PM, where from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. I was originally going to make it 7 to 9, but then I thought that's a bit too late for football shows. Soccer PM will be 2 2-hour shows, one on a Saturday and one on a Sunday. This will basically just be like a bigger review of the day's fixtures and stuff. There'll be 3 different variations of hosts for this. It can either be me and Evan, Tim and Helen, or a really odd pairing, but one I think that could work in Jamie Redknapp and Paul Merson. Now think about it for 1 second. Paul Merson did present the Fantasy Football Club for 4 years with Fenners. And Jamie Redknapp, he does a lot on Sky anyway with A League of Their Own and a lot of punditry. And I think he could work well with Paul Merson. So that's the second part. And this is the third part. Now, I don't know if this is more memorable to later Soccer AM fans, but if you may remember, there was a show which was sponsored by Carling, the beer company, which was called In Off the Bar. This was presented by Smithy and Laura Woods, and it was mainly a pre-match and post-match segments where you gear up for the football. So this is my idea. You have a 90-minute show at a bar near a Premier League stadium before and after the game. So I will say this though, the 90-minute show will be before the game. The after game show will only be 60 minutes because I don't think we really need our presenters pushing themselves to do that much. This will be hosted by Smithy and Woodsy. That's what they were called back then. And Jimmy Bullard. Now, this will, instead of it just being a few matches in the season, I'm going to make sure, I will make sure, personally, that every single game week there is an episode of In Off the Bar. But I also want to make it more frequent because I want at least every single Premier League stadium to have one episode of In Off the Bar. So you get 20 Premier League teams, so that's 20 episodes already filled out. And obviously for the other game weeks, you could just do like big matches like the Manchester Derby, Merseyside Derby, title challenges, 6-pointers, relegation battlers. That would be a good concept. And the daytime shows would be before the games, would be 10:30 to 12. The afternoon shows, if we were doing a 3 o'clock kickoff, would be from 1:30 to 3. And then the evening shows. Now, this is mainly if it's a Tuesday game. If it's not, then it will be an after game for the 3 o'clock kickoffs. So 5:30 to 7. And then this is for the after games for a Tuesday or Wednesday game. 9 to 10:30. That was what I was originally going to go for, but I've narrowed it down now to 9 to 10 p.m. And the evenings for 5:30 to 7, from 5:30 to 6:30. So, next thing I'm going to come up to is segments. I loved a lot of the Soccer AM segments, but I've mainly put most of them down, but I have come up with my own ideas. So let's start off with the main segments. First up, the Champions League. Remember that one with the 5 different holes? You go all the way up from League 2 to the Champions League. I liked that one, and I really loved it when they hit the Champions League. And I feel like that could give some nostalgia back to the 2010 Soccer AM fans. You know the drill. I liked that. Many people would have liked that as well. So with this, I'm going to have Jimmy Bullard go to a stadium or a training ground and do it with a football team. But we're also going to have live ones either on a Saturday or a Sunday. Soccer AM and PM Pro-Am. I loved Soccer AM Pro-Am. And I feel like PM Pro-Am could work as well. You could get like footballers try to raise some money for charities or get some for fans as well. That would be a good idea for PM Pro-Am. Skill School, old favourite. I always loved it. Seeing all the academy players do their skills. I think that would be a good idea. Next up, the Crossbar Challenge, another old classic. And I feel like most football teams would be up to that challenge. Tubes. Probably my favourite part of Soccer AM was his one question and one question only. And he's bringing it back if I gave this idea to Sky, of course. But he will also do interviews with some football players as well. So he's going to continue that. Showboat. Goal of a Showboat. Always liked seeing the skills as well. Goals of the week. I liked this. So the goals of the week will have the National League. We'll have Leagues 1 and 2. The Championship. International leagues from around the world and WSL. And obviously the Premier League as well. So that's my idea for goals of the week. Next up, Shocker Saturday, Fenners. Anyone? I liked Shocker Saturday. Wasn't everybody's taste, I would say, but it was a good show. It was a good concept as well. I always loved some of the jokes Fenners did. Magnuts of the week, Brad Bobley, aka Bob Bradley's lookalike. I always liked the t-shirt, and I thought that could be myself one day getting a t-shirt saying I Meg somebody. Celebrity guests. You've got to have your guests on the show, of course. And my ideas for the guests would be a good idea, I would say. I would say for Sunday's show, though, if I did end up doing a Sunday show for Soccer AM, I would try and get maybe a player that was probably the best player of all the Saturday games and get him on the show to talk about him, the game and how his career has been doing. Third Eye. I like the Third Eye. Loved it when the fans kept sending in those clips from games. Away days, Frankie Fryer, another favourite of mine. Imagine him going down, telling away fans what to do, what to see. And then he ends with a chant insulting himself. Fans of the week. Every single day, really, you gotta have your fans of the week. And that could be something that could really benefit from the Soccer AM revival. 1 to 11. Now, this is a concept I got from the Fantasy Football Club. This is where footballing legends and football players would name their best 11 that they've ever played with or ever managed with. And I liked that idea from the Fantasy Football Club. 2-footed corner challenge. This is another one I got. Sorry. From the Fantasy Football Club. I have actually done a playlist of a lot of these segments. So if you go check out my channel, I've got a lot of Soccer AM playlists. But the two-fold corner challenge is basically three teammates face each other, try and see if they can score directly from a corner in the fewest attempts. And I liked it when players just kept missing and missing and missing until they just somehow gave up. Trick shot. This is mainly one of the lesser known ideas from Soccer AM, but basically it's like a copy the skill challenge, except this is like a 1v1 against each other. So next up, obscene skill. That's obscene, that is. I think you'll know what I'm on about. Fan volleys, aka Soccer AM versus. I always loved it when they hit the top bin, and then they would just celebrate and forget about the rest of the timer going down. This is, and now we go to some of my ideas. Host challenge. The hosts give the guests challenges to complete, and if the guests successfully complete them, we will give £100 to the fans of the week. Captain's challenge, where the captain of a football club will give the presenters a task to do. If they complete it, then the captain of that club will give £100 to the fans of the week. Now, this will be a captain each week, and we can even do international leagues as well. The cheerleaders, you can't go wrong with a few football team cheerleaders. I probably won't do this every week, maybe 2 weeks or so, because I'm pretty sure most cheerleading groups don't really go to football matches anymore. The save blank challenge. Remember the save chip challenge? We'll do that again, but with someone else that any of us presenters know that has been forced to stop watching football from their other half. Maybe we could get that. Maybe then they could get that campaign going again. That would actually be a good idea. So, Soccer AM Dance Off. This is not my concept. This is probably one of the most legendary segments of Soccer AM ever. 15 seconds to dance. I always love seeing some of the dance moves. Rocket was probably the best, I would say. Live music. I probably get a live musician every single week. Obviously not one every single show, but like for one show each week, whether it's a Friday, a Saturday, or a Sunday, I get a live music on. Last Man Standing. The Academy. They would all face each other, and then we see who does the last man standing in that academy. And the last one of the main segments, teammates, where they get given 11 questions, and a certain footballer will tell who is what of the teammates, like, say, best dressed, worst music, player's player, questions like that. Next up, random skits. Now, this is ones that could pop up every now and then in the season. So, retired hairy strikers. Obviously, Andy Carroll and Marouane Fellaini are now retired, but remember Rocket and Dave, I think it was? They would always parody Carroll and Fellaini, and I always loved that. So, this is retired hairy strikers, so in my concept of this, Carroll and Fellaini would be really old, but they could still move like they were footballers. Next up, I'm an A-League celebrity, get me out of here. I always loved Anton Deck, the parody of Anton Deck. Always loved at the end where they do a skit where Anne would go blind, as a parody to obviously PJ went blind. And I'd love to see more Australian football actually back on Sky Sports. Next up, Strip Club. This is not what you think, of course. This was part of a show where fans of the week could get a lot of money by correctly guessing the team from a football kit. that they wore. Teammates 2.0. This is mainly football legends that would do this. So I already explained the concept of the first teammates, so that one should be that. The football Joker. This is one of my own ideas. This is a guy who looks like the Joker, but wears like a football hat, a football tie, football clothing, and he cracks jokes about some funny moments of the week from Soccer AM and the football as well. Next up, 442s. I love 442s. They're probably one of, if not the best football animations of all time. And I loved it that they were working a lot with Soccer AM for a few years. And I'd love to see them working again. Next up, football around the world. This is where we send one of the Soccer AM team to a random country to see what the football is like there. And this could give other countries a lot of exposure, a lot of recognition as well. And it could give football fans an opportunity to see other countries' way of playing football. So that is basically my idea for that. Prediction Pedro. This is a guy who predicts the outcome of football matches. And if you could tell by his name, he's Spanish. So expect a few holas and vamos in there. Throwback Friday. This is a good idea. So Fenners and Bullard will look back at a Soccer AM moment from before and give their thoughts about it. So that's my idea for Throwback Friday. Lineker and Smith. If you don't remember that, it was probably because it was in the later years of Soccer AM when it wasn't as popular as it was back then. But it would mainly be, I think it was Alan Smith telling Gary Lineker a joke. 10-yard bucket challenge. Golf swing into the bucket. I always like that. And I feel like it could still be used well today, especially seeing as golf is getting more popular these days. Sportsman. This is a idea of mine. Two footballers will go head to head in various sports other than football to see who is the ultimate sportsman of their club. And I think this is a good idea because we could potentially see some funny moments from this idea. This next one is a personal favourite of my ideas. Mascot v mascot. Mascots face each other in some challenges. And then we do like this giant tournament of the mascots. And then by the end of the season, we have the mascot v mascot final. And then we see who's the winner. I could just imagine the likes of Krusty the Pie, the Cambridge mascot, the Preston Boiler, all of them in there. And we could even get like the Scottish League. We could even get that Partick Thistle Lisa Simpson one, if we could. Guess who? This is mainly something for the football fans. They get given 4 clues. If they can correctly guess 3 in about 60 seconds, then they will win some money for the fans of the week. So I've got a lot of money ideas for the fans of the week. So they could probably earn up to like about £1,000 a week. Goal of the past. This is where a goal each selected by the hosts and the guests of that show will have a look at some past goals and give their thoughts about them. Merch plug. This is a look at some new football club merchandise, and this could give their sales a boost as well. Because if you could get on a show like Soccer AM, if you could get your merch on Soccer AM, it could potentially attract a lot of customers, I would say. The Soccer AM locker skits. Now, obviously, the lockers aren't really there anymore, but we could still do a few various skits, maybe in a locker, maybe. So that is mainly my idea. I haven't got the ideas though for what skits we could do. And final one for the Soccer AM and PM, Scouser Street. I know that was a terrible Scouse accent, but it's a parody of Coronation Street where it's for Scousers and they do your typical Scouse things. If you could tell me what that is, I would like to know. Put it in the comments. But I think that would actually be a funny thing, especially for your typical Scouser. But there would be in there a lot of that was terrible again. So my next one, this is for the in off the bar segments. So we got the emoji quiz. I liked that idea, and it's probably still used today for a lot of quizzes emojis. The Carling Tap, where fans could win tickets to the football game. That was a good idea. The Keep You Up Challenge. Obviously, your celebrity guest. Try to keep the ball, do keep you ups for as many times as you can. Bullard's Bangers. This is where Jimmy Bullard will name his top 3 goals of the day from all the games on that day. So this will happen on the post match in off the bar. Smithy v Woodsy. The 2 hosts go head to head in a challenge. Draw My Life. This is where the Draw My Life animators will do a Draw My Life of a footballer. And final one, bloopers. This will show a collection of bloopers from Sky Sports from the past and to the present. So I would love to see that idea. And I think that is all my ideas apart from this last one. I'm going to talk about the Soccer AM YouTube channel. This will add old clips and full episodes of Soccer AM from the previous years, from 1995 to 2023. Right, so that is my idea for a Soccer AM revival. I thought a lot about this idea, and I feel like if Sky ever picked this up, I think it could work, but we all know how Sky is. They are pretty strict nowadays, and I feel like they're ruining TV. But that is my opinion. I'm pretty sure most of you have a different opinion of Sky, but this is my idea. If this did end up reaching out to other places, I would love that. But what I want you guys to do, whoever watches it, is to like, comment, giving even your ideas what you'd like to see on Soccer AM. I'd love to hear them. I want you to subscribe to my channel and keep in touch because I will be trying to put out a lot more videos in the next coming few months. But right now, all I'll say is have a great rest of your day, and that's it. Bye.